Hi, Jane Harling here, winwinpropertybuyers.co.uk. So, Texans, what am I talking about? Well, you're just going to have to wait to the end of the video to find out. But today, what I just want to talk to you about is just something that I just think that maybe you may want to stop and consider before you actually sign up and do any kind of education or training out there. Just some things that you may want to ask. The first one of these is, have you actually seen any projects or evidence of projects that your trainer has done personally themselves? And also, how current are they? Because some of the techniques from, the early 2000s perhaps don't really work nowadays. Criteria changes, lending changes and that kind of stuff. It may not actually be relevant to today's market. Do you know every single photo that we have ever put out for our training, our education, our Facebook promotions, anything, they're all our very own projects that we have bought and done ourselves personally. And we think that's really, really important. It wouldn't feel right for us to not put out our own stuff and so on. The second thing I'd like you to just stop and consider as well is, has your trainer actually had real life evidence of working in a falling market as well as a rising market, such as we've all experienced in the last 6 to 7 years? Because things can be very, very different, and you need totally different strategies and totally different approaches to deal with a falling market as you do a rising one. Now, we actually bought our first project, our first commercial one, in 1988. So long ago, isn't it? But what this means is that we've seen 2 major downturns. So we're well aware of how you need to change and how you need to adapt and what the differences are between a falling market and a rising market, because who knows what we're coming into really possibly quite soon. Just something to be aware of. And then lastly, has that knowledge come from real life experience, or has it come from reading books and going on courses themselves? Just stop and consider that I could give you a book like that high, all about learning to ride a bike. But tell me, would you be able to ride a bike until you actually got on it and tried and practiced a bit and fell off a few times and made a few mistakes? Because I suspect that the answer is probably no. You do need real life experiences. Okay, knowing all the rules and all the regulations and all this kind of stuff. But you know what? In the real world, you're dealing with real people. Their whims and their fancies and their prejudices and all this kind of thing. They all bring that to the table. And that can make the outcome very much something that perhaps you actually hadn't expected in the first place. So just check that their knowledge has come from real life experience and they can evidence that, and it hasn't come purely from books and courses and theoretical stuff rather than real life, what actually happens out there in the trenches, in the real world, so to speak. So, Texans, what do I mean? What am I talking about? Well, this is a favourite phrase of Joe's that he uses a lot. And what we talk about is Texans, big hats, big flashy hats and everything, but no cattle in the ranch. Just make sure that your trainer isn't like that. All show, all flash, the big hat, but nothing behind him, nothing to back it up. No cattle in the ranch. Hope I've given you some food for thought here. It's Jane Harling, winwinpropertybuyers.co.uk.